What's going on, everyone? I wanted to start this Market Mondays a little bit earlier than normal. I It's Labor Day, so I'm off today. So I just thought I just started earlier than the scheduled time. So without further ado, I want to thank my Patreon subscribers. They actually helped me come up with this topic. Uh, the topic is REITs. And in case you did not know what a REIT is basically a real estate investment trust or real estate investment trust. So, with that being said, those are what REITs are. So, why is this topic important to me? Why is this topic intriguing? Well, I'm a real estate investor. I've been investing in real estate personally for over 10 years now, or about, well, let's say about 10 years. So I um I primarily buy single family homes. I look for single family homes. Sometimes I look for multi-unit properties. But one thing about real estate where a lot of people don't really want to get involved on a personal level, real estate is very, very expensive. If you're able to get loans, you can basically use other people's money or use bank funds to do that. But if you're using your own funds, it could be very, very expensive. I mean, right now I'm using my own funds, and it is. You want to talk about being broke? I mean, I'm literally uh, broke than I normally want to be. But the greater good is that once I'm finally done, there will be a possibility that I will just be in a position where I have a house, no mortgage, and um, basically all I would just have to do is pay for the tax responsibilities and the utilities and any other costs associated with home ownership, such as you know routine repairs or um, basically remodeling and stuff like that. But um, yes, I've been relatively looking into real estate. Even when I was in grammar school, I wanted to, well, not grammar school, but high school, I always wanted to get into real estate. So, one thing that hinders people is those costs and having to be associated with loans and whatnot. So, a lot of times, what people do is they primarily they look for other avenues to invest in real estate, and REITs are one of those um, avenues. So I will go into a video. I mean, not so much a video, but I want to show you, break it down to you what actually are REITs, and I will show you video content as well to basically talk to you more about it or give you more in-depth information, because sometimes people, a lot of times I see a lot of women, they're not really into real estate because I think women primarily are not into real estate because the programming that's done. So for example, women are taught from young girls that a man is supposed to take out the garbage, a man is supposed to fix up a house, a man is supposed to basically, you have to have the man in the picture in order to actually uh, have a house or maintain a house. So a lot of women nowadays, they don't have that fairy tale or that common relationship with a man, so they feel like they shouldn't really get no house because they don't have a man. And not even that, I wouldn't say a lot of women are deterred by uh getting a house because they don't necessarily have a man. Primarily what I'm speaking into is actually rehabbing a house, because a lot of the deals are for houses that need a little work, or quite a bit of work, or a lot of work. Like, so in my case, my house needs a lot of work. Okay, so um, a lot of women are deterred by that because because of programming of women needing a man to fix up a house and stuff like that. So it is some women out there that's kicking butt. I notice, I watch people, and I've been watching people for years. This particular woman, I think she's in Detroit. Her name is Erica Williams. She's Erica with a K. She invests in real estate, as far as the best of my knowledge. I don't know if she still does it, but she is a lady, a woman investor, black woman investor in Detroit. Um, you also, I'll talk about. Um, I don't want to go further in depth into it, but there are private ways, private companies, or private groups that are you can invest with. Controversially speaking, there is group called the TOSA Fund with Jay Morrison that is just kind of like a punch in the jaw, because it's like a beautiful concept, but from what I know about it, because Patreon subscriber, he actually mentioned that. I don't know that much in detail about it, but from the videos that I saw, I'll just give a short rebuttal on it. Um, Basically, Jay Morrison and a group of other people, I'm sure, they started the TOSA Fund. Okay, so their primarily objective, I guess, was to buy real estate in bulk packages, and then they were looking for contributions, and I think with a possibility of returns. So one thing I do know about investing, just in case a lot of people don't understand, sometimes you it might take years for an investor to get their return, or to for the company to be profitable, right? So let's take, for example, Uber. Okay, so Uber has been around right now for um I want to say I want to say about at least close to about at least 6 or 7 years, closer to 10 years, right? So they became public a year or two ago, and they're not profitable. Okay. They have never really been profitable, and to the best of my knowledge, because they're a fledgling startup, and then also they're a young company. A lot of the management is young. Not to say that young people are stupid. I'm not leading that. I'm not leading this argument into that. But basically, they're trying to figure things out. A lot of companies, when they start, they don't turn profits right away. It's just like businesses. It might take 3 or 4 years for a small business, like if you go start a coffee shop, to actually be in a position where you're actually making profits, meaning that you're actually earning money instead of like actually kind of like just breaking even or slightly losing some money in certain areas and stuff like that. So that just in case people didn't know, that is a commonality that companies, it might take on average a 10-year period before a company can actually go into profit, to be in a position where they're actually giving having a profit to actually be able to give a return to an investor. Okay, so with that being said, let's get that out the way. Another thing is what I heard was that they were, they weren't giving people their money back. People requested their money back. They weren't able to get their money back. And then also I heard reports that some of the real estate, um, as far as purchases were flawed, right? So um, some of the purchases were like, not really like prime real estate. So I mean, this is what I heard, right? So I think it's a good concept. Um Sounds like, from just on the glance of just looking at it as a business, sounds like it's missing some management components, or some people to make some decisions, to be on the board or whatever, to make some better decisions, because maybe just need better decision making. But overall, rule of thumb, when you invest in anything, like I say in my stock video, 5 reasons or 5 things that I've learned from 10 years of trading online. Uh, you should never invest money that you can't lose. You should never. This is like from reading stock books like 10 years ago. You should never trade with scared money. That's what they call it. Now, in case what you don't know what scared money is, scared money is meaning if you lose it, if you lose that money, you're scared. Like, cause that money is tied into college funds, your savings, your current living expenses, money that is supposed to be allocated towards debts, money that you actually need right now. You should never really, by rule of thumb, you should never gamble with scared money, or definitely even invest with scared money, because you get very emotional with it. On top of anything, even if it's money you can't actually go without, you still gonna get emotional with it. But with scared money, it gets really really emotional, such as in the case from, I think the guy was from Naperville, which is like 30 miles from me. He committed suicide because he lost 730,000 uh betting on options on the stock market. So like that's just why they say um do not invest with scared money. I mean, so I was born in the 80s, so early 80s. So I've heard stories about people jumping out of the stockbrokers jumping out of the windows. You don't really hear about it now. I mean, they say now stockbrokers just throw their computer or throw their cell phone, but I've heard reports of people actually jumping out the window because they lost so much money in the stock market. Primarily, I would point to the year 1987. It was a stock market crash in 1987. I remember hearing reports about stockbroker jumping out the window. Okay, now I don't know if that's a conspiracy or anything like that, but I've heard of reports like that. I've never seen it, but yeah, I've heard of that. But anyways, back to REITs. I'm going to share my screen and show you actually what a REIT is. So bear with me. All right. Yep. Yeah, please join Broke Genius Patreon. That's the link right there. Um, Patreon.com, Broke Genius. What are REITs? Okay. REITs are, or real estate investment trusts, are companies that own or finance income producing real estate across a range of property. Uh, Hold on for 1 second. Property sectors. So these real estate companies have to meet a number of requirements to qualify as REITs. Most REITs trade on major stock exchanges, and they offer a number of benefits to investors. Okay, this information below here is from investopedia.com. Once you cats coming after me talking about I ain't give you credit. 5 types of REITs and how to invest in them. Okay, the first one is retail REITs. It say approximately 24% of REIT investments are in shopping malls and freestanding retail. This represents the single biggest investment by type in America. Whatever shopping center you frequent, it's likely owned by a REIT. When considering an investment in retail real estate, one first needs to examine the retail industry itself. It is financially healthy at present, and what is the outlook for the future? Okay, so blah 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 blah. I'm gonna go move along. Um, it says, um, therefore, it's crucial that you invest in REITs with the strongest anchor tenants possible. These include groceries and home improvement stores. In case you didn't know, okay, I can tell you just off the top of my head. An anchor tenant is someone that's gonna be there for a long time. Cause like, in case you didn't know, actually, so like franchises as well as even big companies, they actually rent too. Believe it or not, they don't buy all of companies don't buy uh retail locations. Some of them do, but in many cases they rent. They rent entire office buildings. They rent retail spaces. So, for example, let's say Verizon. Verizon will be considered an anchor tenant because basically Verizon trying to be there for like 10, 15 years, 20 years. As long as that location is profitable, they gonna try to be there. Okay. So that is what is meant by anchor tenant. Once you've made your industry assessments, your focus should turn to REITs themselves. Like any investment, it's important that they have good profits, strong balance sheets, and as little debt as possible. See what I'm saying? In my last video, see that's that debt factor. It's like how much debt do you actually have as a company? So especially the short term kind in a poor economy, retail REITs with significant cash positions will be presented with opportunities to buy good real estate at distressed properties. I mean, distressed prices. The best run companies will take advantage of this. That said, there are longer term concerns for the retail REIT space in that shopping is increasingly shifting online as opposed to the mall model. Okay. So another I'll point out a REIT that I know of off the top of my head. Simon. They're into malls primarily. Simon, they I check them out because like the local malls in the Chicagoland area, they have quite a few of those. So that's Simon, Simon. Okay. So moving along, then you have residential REITs. These are REITs that own and operate multi-family rental apartment buildings as well as manufactured housing. When looking to invest in this type of REIT, one should consider several factors before jumping in. For instance, the best apartment markets tend to be where home affordability is low to the rest of the country. Okay, so I mentioned it. I say, are you balling cats in New York and LA and Miami or wherever? Man, reach out to a brother, man. I'll bird dog for you. In case you don't know what bird dog is, a bird dog is like one of the lowest entry ways of real estate that you can get in. Doesn't really cost any money whatsoever. Basically, what a bird dog is somebody that finds properties for investors for a fee. So basically, someone that'll just drive around and basically before a bird dog drives around, he or she is going to basically contact the investor. He's going to work with a series of investors or maybe just one investor. An investor is like, man, I'm looking for a multi-unit building, 5 units or more. And it has to be in that profitable area, low crime. I mean, he's gonna give you all of these parameters, and then the bird dog, he goes out and he finds he writes down, makes a list of these properties, and he delivers it to an investor. Now, when the investor decides to close on one of those properties, the bird dog will get a commission. It'd be like, you got to give me at least, um, 3% or it could be just a flat rate fee, or it could be a percentage of the ARV value, or the percentage of the purchase price, something that whatever a bird dog comes up with. For me, I would just say a flat rate. So I would be like, all right, for you know single family homes, just give me $500, $500 or 1,000. I'll find you a good single family home that you can Airbnb and rent out. For a multi-unit, that'll be 1,500 to $2,000 for a fee to find a good multi-unit building. It could be even somebody looking for a retail space. So that is what a bird dog is. But like I say, like, man, all you guys, man, with all these long pockets in New York, LA, wherever, to Texas, wherever you guys are at, you high value men, hey, reach out to me. I'm not no shiesty dude. I mean, I don't even need your money. I just, basically, I'm trying to help you, help me, help you make some money, and me make some money. That's how I operate. So, um, you know, this is what this article is saying, basically, that houses that are in places where the home affordability is very low relative to the rest of the country. So, for example, on um my level, as far as how much money I have, the little money I have, I know exactly what they mean by this, because me being in the Midwest, the market is very low as far as entry prices. The affordability is very low in certain areas. So, for example, you have Gary, Indiana, which where my property is. I mean, you could buy a house for like 5 grand. Okay. The price of it might not be that high, but here's the thing. You're in LA, you want to just get some money so you can go, I don't know, take your girl out every now and again, and don't, have some property for it, or You want to pay for the insurance for your Lamborghini with one, basically one property. Cause see, that's how the rich do it, and do it well. They'll make they'll have an investment for every bill they have. So let's say they have a mortgage on their mansion. It's like $5,000 a month. Well, they'll just buy a 10-unit building or 20-unit building, and then that pays for that plus more, or just like 5-unit building, and it pays for their mansion. I mean, as long as everybody pays their rent and you know all of that stuff, because rental management is it's a lot that goes into it. But I will have to admit, I do agree with Grant Cardone. You don't want to really get into real estate management. You want to actually just take the loss a little bit, and go through with real estate management company. And what a real estate management company will do is they'll charge you a fee like 25 to 30%, and they'll collect the rent. They'll involve with any repairs with the property. They'll involve with certain aspects of your property, your building. And what they'll do is, and they'll also evict the tenants. They'll fine you tenants to rent, to basically rent out your apartment building, and they'll just take their 30% cut. So this actually works out well, and it's one of the secrets that basically why the rich get richer. Because you can be in Singapore, you can find a good management company. You can buy about, let's say you got, you know, got some money or whatever. You can buy, like, you could just, like, and just to basically go in depth, you can make your own REIT. You can literally be a one man REIT. Like, you could have, I mean, relatively speaking, you want to have an investment group, group of friends. It could be just a group of friends. It could be family, and basically you could just start your own, like, real estate trust or whatever, and buy a whole bunch of properties, and then just basically however you want to manage them, you manage them, or let property management deal with it. But let's say, like, going back to the guy in Singapore or whatever, he could he could buy you know a building or two or three in, let's say, Chicago. He could have a real estate management company manage them, um and basically he gets that cut of whatever the 70% that's left, if the real estate management company is charging 30%, minus other costs as well, as far as taxes and repairs and stuff like that. Now here's the thing, you don't really worry about that, because I'll just give you another tip for free 99 or whatever. You make your money in the long run. Like just like I said, like, when it comes to stocks and just investments, as far as typically how long it take investments to get to make a return off your investment. You want to buy property, and if you're renting it out, you wanna just buy and hold property as well. If you're trying to rent it out, and you're gonna make your money back over a period of years. So, like, say for example, you buy one single family house, for example, for $40,000. You spent 15 to fix it up, so you're out $55,000. So, the golden goose that laid the golden egg is the government that gives Section 8 out to people. So you got a tenant, you find a tenant that basically got a Section 8 voucher. So that Section 8 voucher is good for $1,000, but you work out something because you got a nice remodel house. everything new, hardwood floors, marble countertops, all the whole spiel. You rent the house out for $1,200, right, to someone. Okay, so they giving you $200 a month cash, and you getting $1,000 automatic deposit to your account from the government because they're getting a Section 8 voucher. So you just basically you're gonna make your return back, roughly speaking, in 5 years. Okay, you'll literally start printing out cash in 5 years. 5 year mark. Long as the tenant is pretty solid, he or she is uh you know in the house and whatnot. You're you're going to make your return off of everything you spent in 5 years. So after once you hit the 5 year mark, you basically start. I call it printing money. And this term came from Robert Kiyosaki as well. So you'll start literally printing money at that point. And what that means by printing money is you have already made all of your money back from your initial investment. So technically now that property is printing money for you. It is actually making you a return. You're making money from that property. And not to mention if you sold the property, because if you sold the property, you'd make even more money because you've actually got your money back. If this information is not giving you a hard on, you in the wrong place. Because I mean I'm literally you're printing money after 5 years or whatever the time period. I mean if that doesn't make you understand why people if you ever understood why people are wealthy and rich. I mean, I'm just talking about one house. I mean, what if you had 10 or 20 houses, So, this is the stuff I was talking about when I was talking about um the blacks in Europe and stuff like that. This is barren stuff. Like there's barons in the United States. You still considered a baron, a land baron, if you have a whole bunch of property. So this is I'm giving you I'm giving you the game for free 99 on this one, right? So I mean, you literally start printing money after you actually get your return of your investment back. Um, and then this is what it's meant by that. Now, back to this article or whatever, and this is uninvestedpedia.com. You if you're in a place like I'll say it again, Chicago, parts of Indiana, even Detroit. Even though Detroit is kind of very distressed right now, I really don't know what that much about it. I would like to actually talk to someone that is actually in that market because I really don't know. As far as I went there a couple weeks ago, but from what it looks like it's very distressed. But one thing you gotta understand with property is that everybody needs a place to live. They might not necessarily. I mean, going back to my blog and my different neighborhood grades. One thing about neighborhood grades is that, like, I would say Detroit, from what I saw, it's like a F grade. It's like let me go back to, because this actually is relative. So let me go to my trusty blog, and it'll kind of explain things a little bit further. Okay, so let's go back to, 'cause this is on my initial page. So all right. So here's the thing: 5 types of neighborhoods. So all right. So you got, like I say, F neighborhoods, high crime, unemployment, a lot of rundown properties, extremely difficult to fix and flip, and also difficult to collect rental payments. Okay, so that is what I kind of see as far as Detroit. Okay, so you got D neighborhoods, all of these neighborhoods. So ideally, the best ones are C, B, and A neighborhoods. So I'm just gonna show you what I call a C neighborhood, and actually it's called Calumet City. This is what I consider a C neighborhood. Some people will say it's a D it's a D grade neighborhood, but it's actually I believe it. To me, it's a C grade neighborhood. But some people are more. I'm more of an optimist than other people are. So sometimes people, they have they have very pessimistic mindset, or it's just more conservative or whatever, progressive than I am or whatever. So as you can see, let's take something like this. It could just, so you got Calumet City, right? And if you in New York, if you in New York or LA, you probably licking your chops right now because you can't even get a garage in New York or LA with for $48,000. Okay, so this okay. Like I say, Calumet City, Illinois, is a C grade neighborhood. Now let me go back to housing structures because also that is part of the mix too. Because basically, if you just read my blog, you and then kind of like learn from like how what home repairs are, you could literally walk through a house and then you could determine very quickly what type of grade it is, and then also determine what the average repair costs are. So you got a property grade that the repair costs are 0 to 5,000. That's a house that's like pretty much remodeled, completely remodeled, already done, or brand new. Now I'll tell you, most people houses are between C and B grade. Um, because they have some perfect imperfections. So you have a B grade is 10 to 20,000 repairs. Basically, um, it's in decent condition. Need minor rehabbing. May need something to get up to code. No major defects, might need some clean out, stuff like that. And then you have C, which most people houses, if you've been living in your house for like, and you really don't really do that much, your house is probably in C grade condition. It just houses, kitchens, bathrooms, they wear down over years. So you you got some fair structural damage, stuff like that. So yeah, this is all on my blog brokegeniuses.com, page 5. But quickly, I can actually through pictures most of the time determine what type of grade this house is from just looking at it. They might not give you the inside picture. I mean, if they don't give you the inside picture, and this is also a short sale, I can tell you this house is a C or D by default. Just by the outside, it needs tuck pointing. It needs some cement work on the porches here. Needs some landscaping. I mean, this is a C or D grade house. But here's the thing: going back to my grade housing grades, a C or D is not bad. So roughly speaking, if you put if you bought this house, even for the price that what they want, $48,000, put $20,000 in it, probably won't even need 20,000 because $20,000 is a lot of money. I mean, that's is it because then you also have you have houses that are basically, you want to, if you renting out a house, you do not completely remodel. See, this is like newbie mistakes that they do. Like they'll remodel a house to make it all look brand new and nice. You don't do that when you're renting out a house. You only do that when you're actually fixing it up to actually resell it. So if you get it rental ready, it doesn't, you just do bare minimum basic stuff. So you could probably get this house ready for probably 10,000, let's say $10,000. So you're at about 58,000, let's just say $60,000. So I can show you even what the rent is going for in Calumet City. I used to live in Calumet City, so um you know, I had an apartment in Calumet City. So my my internet is slow, so just bear with me. But I can tell you just off the top of my head that the rent for a house in Calumet City is over $1,000 for that particular property. Actually, you know what? I don't even have to do that because realtor.com, they'll show you the rental values. And on average, it's you know, give or take, is it's fairly accurate. The taxes are quite high. Taxes is an issue as well. You have to calculate that. Let me see if they give the rental, um what the rental rates are going for. Let's see here. It might be Zillow. I'll just put this particular property on Zillow. So this would just be like a case study for just to show, just to basically show what I'm talking about. So let me go to Zillow. I mean, you can't. I know you can't take Zillow for face value, but you can kind of get a kind of somewhat roundabout price on Zillow. So let's put that in there. Um, Skip this question. All right. So it's on sale on Zillow as well. And then you have Redfin and Zillow that you could those are on the stock market as well. They last I've checked with Redfin was doing fairly well. Let's see. I'm trying to find the rental estimates. Uh, let's see here. Yeah, these are the prices here. Okay. So I know whoever's trying to sell this house, I'm literally giving them free advertising. So I bet this house is sold probably within a week. Um, I'm gonna try to find. Well, actually, you know what? I could just do this. I can click this and then click for rent. For rent. All right. So as you can see, this is a 3 bedroom that is they're asking for $1,600. Okay. Um, this is $1,000 for 1 2 bedroom. Okay, I'm trying to look for this is asking for 1,700 for 3 bedrooms. So I mean, you get the gist of it. So basically, um, let me see here. So you just average it. You just average it up. So $2,000. Uh, so that's about roughly 20,000 a year. So you'll literally get your money back within 3 years. I mean, you'll start printing money in 3 years. So this is why, like, you see wealthy people, they just be sitting back, they just be like relaxed, real chill. You know what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying, they got a lot of stuff covered already. They're just making money in their sleep. This is why, ladies and gentlemen. because they get it. They understand. Going back to the dude, the get out of debt dude. They understand math. One thing, I might be broke, but I do understand math. Okay, I didn't even have to pull out a calculator. I mean, I, I understand. I understand the way math works. So let's go back to the article. I know I'm probably boring you, but sometimes school, look at this as like class. Sometimes class is boring sometimes. Um, but making money is never boring to me. But anyway, basically you have, I just made some money. That's that cash, the cash ching. So yeah, you have places like New York and Los Angeles. The high cost of single homes forces more people to rent, which drive up the price landlords can charge each month. So um, you know, basically, it's just a caveat to what was said. So then you have healthcare REITs moving along. They say it's an interesting subsector to watch because as Americans age and healthcare costs continue to climb, healthcare REITs. Oh, that's very interesting because United States is aging. The people already know that because they're building a lot of. I noticed they're building a lot of nursing homes. We have it's an aging population, so these REIT investments, like they say, are real estate of hospitals, medical centers, nursing facilities, and retirement homes. So, I always ask myself, how can I make money off of all of these people that are going to be needing, getting older and, needing a place to live? There you have it. So, yeah, the final one I think is this. Okay, no, this is the second to final. You have office REITs, and that's investing in office buildings. They receive rental income from tenants who have usually signed long-term leases. Um, so they say four questions come to mind for anyone who is interested in investing in office REITs. What is the state of the economy, and how is the unemployment rate? What are the vacancy rates like? How is the area in which the REIT investment is doing economically? How much capital does it have for acquisitions? I can tell you just off of just what the eyes can see of what I see in my area. Offices are closed up. I drive past areas where it doesn't even matter if I'm in an upper class neighborhood, lower class, middle class. I mean, in middle class and lower class, office buildings is left and right. You can actually just buy an entire office building for the cheap because a lot of offices they just for whatever reason closed up shop and they are no longer in business. And it's a lot of office vacancies. And this is also could probably go further in detail as far as the state of the overall economy in the United States. Is something maybe this moves into a sort of the economist type of thing because if these offices are closing, what does that say about the state of affairs of the economy? Because in my area, in the Chicagoland area, a lot of offices are closed. I mean, I'm talking about offices that house major corporations. They're vacant. I mean, so and when there's a vacant property and it's part of a REIT, that office building is draining that REIT. That REIT, that office building it has to be it's a loss every month for that building being vacant. So you package all of these office buildings that are vacant. There you go. It's just like an eyesore, and then eventually after they're vacant for so long, then they have to be demolished, and then that costs us money, and then they just have to sell the land, and then it might take 5 or 10 years to sell the land. mean, it's just a big cluster. Okay, and it's a lot of office buildings that are empty right now as we speak. So, lastly, you have mortgage REITs. Approximately 10% of REIT investments. Let me see. I kind of moved a little fast on the office REITs. Okay, they don't say how many what's the percentage of office REITs. Okay, so approximately 10% of REIT investments are in mortgages as opposed to the real estate itself. The best known but not necessarily greatest investments are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac government sponsored enterprises. They buy mortgages on a secondary market, but just because this type of reinvests in mortgages instead of equity doesn't mean it comes without risk. An increase in interest rates would translate into a decrease in mortgage REIT book values, driving stock prices lower. In addition, mortgage REITs get a considerable amount of their capital through secured and unsecured debt offerings. Should interest rates rise, future financing will be more expensive, reducing the value of a portfolio of loans in a low interest rate environment with the prospect of rising rates. Most mortgage REITs trade at a discount to net asset value per share. The trick is finding the right one. Okay, so now I'm going to set up a video. I'm going to show you basically um what what REITs are in detail, to just kind of just give you a foundational approach, in case you missed something or just need further information. Bear with my connection. It is very slow. So let's see here. Okay, now let's open this up, get this going for you. Might not watch the whole video, but or it's 4 minutes. Yeah, you could take 4 minutes. All right.
REITs, or Real Estate Investment Trusts, were created by Congress in 1960 to give all Americans the opportunity to benefit from investing in income-producing real estate. REITs allow anyone to own or finance properties. In the same way shareholders benefit by owning stocks in other corporations, the stockholders of a REIT earn a share of the income produced through real estate investment without actually having to go out and buy or finance property. This video provides some insight into what REITs are and how they work. The REIT industry has a diverse profile, which offers many benefits. REITs often are classified in one of two categories: equity REITs or mortgage REITs. Equity REITs own a wide range of property types, including offices, shopping centers, hotels, apartments, and much more. Equity REITs derive most of their revenue from rent on those properties. Mortgage REITs may finance both residential and commercial properties. Mortgage REITs get most of their revenue from interest earned on their investments in mortgages or mortgage-backed securities. In addition, REITs may be publicly registered with the SEC and have their shares listed and traded on major stock exchanges. Or they may be publicly registered with the SEC but not have their shares listed or traded on major stock exchanges. Or they may be private companies, not registered with the SEC and not listed or traded on a stock exchange. Regardless of the type, REITs operate under a specific set of rules established by Congress. A REIT is an entity that is modeled after mutual funds, is treated by the Internal Revenue Code as a corporation, must be widely held by shareholders, must primarily own or finance real estate, and must own its real estate with a long-term investment horizon.
Yeah, I got a okay. Yeah, PJ's. He said, I got to pause. He said, Illinois property tax rates are high. Yes, they are extremely high. Extremely high. But here's the thing with that. So it's still ways you could make money. So I'll take for example, actually that first example of real estate. Someone I'm not gonna dime them out, but someone one of my family members actually he bought a house. Okay, it was a foreclosure. It was actually through a friend of the family's, right? So that was his story. He bought the house for 40 grand. Um, this was like over 6 years ago at this point. Bought it for 40 grand. He basically he put about 15 into it, and he initially he fixed it up actually as a fix and flip. He actually like fully rehabbed it. So he initially tried to sell it. His initial observations was he was going to try to sell it and make a bunch of money and list it for like hundred and some $1,000s, right? So at that time, and this goes back to my blog in the neighborhood grades. Certain areas, they're not fix and flip, or they're hard to fix and flip. So the area where the house is, I would say, is a D area, right? So it's not ideal. Usually in D areas, how selling houses is kind of hard to do. Fix and flip. And then also C areas, it's not easy to fix and flip. So let's say like let me let me kind of go. I guess I can kind of show you better than I could tell you. So a B and A area. Let's say, okay, what would be a B and A area? Let me show you. All right, I can show you a B and A area in the South Chicagoland area. I'm just gonna talk about the South Chicagoland area. So typically in these areas, the house is already pretty much sold within a few months of listing. Um, so we got Olympia Fields, okay, Illinois. This is like a B neighborhood. I could just tell you just for research purposes. A neighborhood would be Naperville, would be like Kennelsworth, or Winnetka, or Hinsdale. Okay, so this you see all these offers, right? And it's only 62 homes on the market. That shows that it's not people are not selling. They're buying and holding, right? And then it's not that many houses for sale. Okay. And I'll get to that yacht PJs with MJ. Let me finish. You got 62 homes right here that are on the market, which hit Olympia Fields is a small town, but basically it's showing you that these houses, you see all these offers. Okay, everyone, this is a B neighborhood. This is example of a B neighborhood. So as soon as you list the property, when you got a good real estate agent, she's got cookies, she's got coffee, she's got refresh napkins and little small little plates. She's you done fixed the house up, and you doing your first showing. You got 10 offers on the first day. What I mean by a B neighborhood. Okay, so going back to even what I was saying about my family member. um even in the D neighborhood, you can still rent out properties. And then one thing about shout out to a guy that's been real estate investment. Been on YouTube for like over 10 years. Phil Putiovsky. I probably am butchering his name. I think it's Puchiovsky or something like that. He talks about basically the like Section 8, right? Or investing in the ghetto per se. Um, One thing about Section 8 is guaranteed. You get an ACH deposit every month, and that's pretty much what my family member gets. So no matter what, he's gonna get that, and he's also gonna get his cash because the tenant has been there for over as long. Basically, when he first rented out, he still has the same tenant. So even with the taxes is mute because basically, um, he's already made his money back, okay, from the rent he's already collected for the past 6 years. At this, he's been printing money out for going. It'll be 2 years next year. But I mean, he's already in the point where he's printing out money. So taxes is like basically that's a deduction off of his income that he receives from his rent that he collects. It's a mute point. He's still making profit hand over fist even with the tax obligations. So taxes is more of a concern when you're like you just bought a house to live there. So that's when taxes become a concern. Now, yeah, Michael Jordan, yeah, we can pull up Michael Jordan's house. That's actually the house that I want to buy. I want to actually, I would buy Michael Jordan's house and make it a museum. I'll put a whole bunch of Jordans in there. I'll make a killing. I'll probably make my money back. Probably I don't know, 10 years maybe. Have parties, rent it out. You know, um, you know, yeah. So yeah, his house is you know, he's losing money every year, but he writes it off. I'm sure. Okay, he writes it off. All right. So yeah, he's been trying he's been trying to sell his house for like man since he probably divorced his wife Juanita. Uh, it's just if I was him, I'd just make it a museum at this point. But you know, he's an Aquarius. The Aquarius are stubborn. This is his house. He's still trying to sell it, but now that I probably called him stubborn, he probably gonna try to do that now because they got a pretty big ego, and you'd be surprised who listens to people, even little old me. Yeah, he's actually trying to. The price actually went up a little bit because I remember it was as low as they wanted like 13 million. But it's a little bit more. But yeah, so let me show you his taxes. He gotta pay. Look at this. This will make you feel real humble. Every year, man, he's got to pay the equivalent of what purchase price for most people's homes. I mean, every year in just taxes. But I mean, fortunately for Michael Jordan, he makes his money hand over fist. He can totally write this off as a tax deduction, as well as it's not really hurting him. If anything, I'm sure people probably drive past his house or his mansion. Um, it's just a tax burden. I mean, he's in the 0.001%, so it's not really hurting him. Okay, it just not hurting him. So yeah, going back to this video, finish this video. Um,
The IRS implements the REIT rules and oversees what qualifies as a REIT. The Internal Revenue Code requires a REIT to adhere to the following essential rules. At least 75% of the corporation's income must be earned from real estate as rent, real estate interest, or from the sales of real estate assets. At least 75% of the corporation's assets must be real estate assets. At least 95% of income must be passive. REITs are required to distribute at least 90% of taxable income annually to shareholders as taxable dividends. In other words, a REIT cannot retain its earnings. Like a mutual fund, a REIT receives a dividends paid deduction, so no tax is paid at the entity level if 100% of income is distributed. REIT shareholders pay taxes on dividends at ordinary rates versus the lower qualified rate. The top ordinary rate is now 39.6%. Over time, REITs and the rules and regulations that govern them have evolved to meet the changing needs of the real estate industry and the broader economy. But throughout that process, REITs have remained true to the mission laid out by Congress in 1960 to make the benefits of income producing real estate accessible to anyone and everyone. And that's still how they work today.
What's going on, underrated darkness? All right. So there you have it. There's a REIT. I went and got my I was running out of juice. Went and got my charger. So I'm gonna show you, basically how REITs are doing. Okay, so this is Finviz. This is another actual like trading, like charting website or tool that I use. So this actually shows you what REITs are actually doing. Okay, so this is the one day I gotta start to year to date. So as you can see, um, REITs are really doing bad. Woo boy. Look at the hotels and motels year to date. Minus 45%. Real estate diversified. In case you don't know what that is, that's just a combination of damn near every real estate you can. So these are companies that basically invest in every type of real estate from like single family all the way up to office buildings, everything. Minus 42%. Mortgage minus 40%. Okay. Retail 38%, minus 38%. Okay. And it just tells a story of the tale of just where things are going. If you just looked at this, you'd be like, man, I need to go buy a REIT today. But you want to go back to as far as you can go. You want to tell the story. The year to date tells a story, more of the story than the one day. Um, Now, there's a couple ways you could look at this. You could be like, okay, well, they're extremely low, so I might as well buy in, But okay, 1 month they have shot up a little bit. Okay, you see what I'm saying? The office REITs still doing terrible. Matter of fact, it ain't a time, like I say, just with my eyeballs, with just what I see. I haven't even checked this out yet. Look at the office reach from year to date. They ain't a green one. They ain't went green yet throughout the whole time from one day all the way down to a year. That, like I say, economists, that's for the economists to look at. I'm not. I mean, I know a little bit about it. I can just roughly tell you basically that these companies are closing offices now. The further you go into the rabbit hole with that will tell you the story with that. But that's just what is they're saying there. For some reason or not, I mean, maybe people are working more remote, whatever the case may be. The REIT office, basically stocks are just literally in trouble, complete trouble, and REITs overall are in trouble. Okay, so I'm gonna, I don't know if anybody wants to hop on. Let me see here. Let me copy this clipboard. I'll give you guys a few, if you wanted to hop on and talk about what REITs from topic, or talk about, any type of market moves or anything like that. Basically, you could do so. I got the link I just dropped. If you don't want to talk, just let me know. I will close this out. Pretty much gave you a lot of information. I, you know, I've invested in REITs. Um, I haven't really made too much money in REITs. There's another, it's another company that I could mention that they do pretty well with. Um, it called I think it's Real Estate Homes America, something like that. Uh, America, something like that. I think this is it. Let's see here, rentals. No, this is not it. What's the name of that company? I think it's like National Real Estate, home real estate. Let's see here. Or is it National Home Rentals? Let's see here. Residential portal. Um, yeah, I don't know if this one is it. Or let's see, find a home. Because basically, what they do is they offer properties. Yeah, this is one of them. All right, so like I like this company. This is considered a REIT. This company here, they actually they show you the actual rates. You could literally just apply for it right on their site. They actually have houses, and this will show you because they making a killing. Let's just put it in Illinois. Show you what they're charging. As you can see, like okay, this house is like this is a B neighborhood right here. So you could just say, let's just say just it's a B neighborhood. Um, you see how much they're charging for rent? Okay, $1,800 a month for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,500 square feet. I mean, it's a pretty good neighborhood. Let me show you some pictures. They show any pictures? Okay, yeah. So, and it's a pretty nice house. Um, yeah, it's basic, but it's pretty nice. It's the layout. So yeah, I mean, this is there. I would say this company is doing pretty good because they have a pretty good model. Their rent prices are extremely expensive. Um, you know, and yeah, it this is a good company to watch. I would say primarily. But yeah, this is Market Monday. Hope this information was good for you. See you next week. I'll think of a new topic, or maybe one of you guys can pick a topic for me. Let me know what you want to talk about. All right, take it easy.